lovelies. What are you doing? Happy Tuesday to you. It just occurred to me that I forgot to send out the text message today. Colleen, where you at?
Are you live?
Am I live? I'm supposed to be live. Am I live? I see people. The numbers are counting down. Colleen, where are you? Y'all, Colleen is like literally next to me. And that's why I'm asking her like where she's at. Because now she's got me all worried that I'm not actually live.
I found you. Like, oh, wait.
There I am. Okay. Oh my goodness. Kathy says, I see you. Hi. Okay, good. That means we're good. We're good. So I completely forgot to send out the text message today. My apologies. Colleen's been here, but we've been working on orders and stuff, and I just got completely sidetracked and didn't even think about it.
It's my fault. I did it.
Colleen says it's her fault. She did it. It's her fault. Hello, though. Hi. Hi, Wanda. Hi, Anita. Oh, my gosh. Hi, everybody. Hi, Kathy. You guys. I was showing Colleen how to get the orders packed because she, likes that.
I love it.
I don't know why.
I love it. It's so much fun.
So, yeah. So, we've been talking. We've been gossiping about y'all. You know, because your name will come up and your order will come up and Colin's, oh, I know her. She's so sweet. That was such a good choice. I'm so glad she picked that bracelet.
Excellent choice.
It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. So just know that we're talking about y'all because we love you.
And some of you might get some extra DNA.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, of course. Well, I think everybody's kind of used to that. Like sometimes there's like a rogue dog hair that may end up like attached to your sticker on your order.
Extra love at no charge.
Exactly.
Got it.
Exactly. You like my shirt? How funny. I got this in the young men's department because, you know, I'm all about shopping in all the areas of the store. And I just got to say, like, the guys' t-shirts are so much softer than the girls' t-shirts.
This is a guy's t-shirt, too.
Exactly. See, they're more comfy.
Yeah.
They're so soft.
And they have longer sleeves because I got the big arms.
They do have longer sleeves.
Yeah.
Like, who is designing women's t-shirts right now? They need to go. They need to go and talk to the men's department.
Because it's like a roll of sausage and it just like the Goodyear, like the Michelin Man. It's there. It looks like a stack of tires on your arm. I'm not about that.
You are too funny.
I'm not about a stack of tires.
Oh, my goodness.
Anyway.
Cindy says my jewelry comes with free dog hair also. See, we get it, right? That's just kind of the way it is. Oh my goodness. All right, so let's get started. We need a Vega viewing. We haven't seen how big she's gotten in a while. She's in the hallway.
You want me to go get her?
Yeah, grab her. I'll show you guys because
I'm afraid now. Hold on.
she's out there fighting with Xena.
Mama's coming.
Colleen's gonna grab her. I'll show you now because I have a tendency to say I'll show you at the end and then I forget. So I'll show you how big she is now, and then we'll get started because I've got a really cool necklace project for you guys today. And the necklace project, you guys, is featuring some beads from Sam's Bead Shop. And I've got Sam's Bead Shop information for all of you. Sam is here. He's popped in to say hey.
Come here, Megan. Come here. Come here. I think she had a little tussle there. Come here.
Come here. So before you guys see my dog, okay, I want to tell you,
Want me to pick her up?
her eye is not hurt. She has hair dye on her eye and she has hair dye on her paw. She is not injured.
Come here, Megan. Come here. Come here, baby.
She's humongo now. Okay. So she's no longer a little pepper ruppies anymore. Now she's big girl. Look at her. Look at how big she is. And she 100% has hair dye next to her eye. I promise she's not hurt. It is seriously just red hair dye. She has it on her foot as well.
It's a good look. It's her color.
But look at how big. Like she's seriously grown.
She's no longer a lap
She's
dog.
not a puppy anymore. She's like full on dog size now. She's still baby, but and she still wants to be held on a regular basis, which is really hard because she is like so heavy and so big. But she, you know, she whines and wants to be held.
Tina, out.
Okay, you have to go now because we have to actually do work. Believe it or not.
Dogs be gone.
Not everybody came here to see you. So she's about 5 months old now. So yeah. Okay, get down.
Come on, let's go.
All right, Albert, out of here. Out of here. All dogs. All dogs. Okay, cool. leave my side. That's okay. He can stay. So let's talk about it. Now that we got all of that out of the way. So like I was saying, we have got a project today. This is a necklace project that is featuring some beads from Sam's Bead Shop. Guys, a lot of these beads, actually all of these beads, were part of a previous Sam's Bead box. It was the Ancient Ruins box that was August of 2022. Had to double check just to make sure, because I sometimes still put 2022 on my anything I have to put the date on. It's how many months in now? 3 months in, and I'm still not used to it. Okay, anyway. It is, they are beautiful beads from the Ancient Ruins box, but you can still grab all of these beads, except with the exception of one. We're going to talk about that here in just a second. But you can grab all of the beads in today's project over at Sam's Bead Shop. And here's the thing. The beads are all available except for the English cut. I'm going to show you exactly which ones those are. However, Sam wanted me to pass on the information to you guys that you can get on the wait list for those because more of them are coming. And to get on the wait list, basically you just go over to the Sam's Bead Shop shop. You can use the app. You can use the website, right? And you're going to find those beads. You're going to click on them, and it's going to ask you to join the wait list instead of add it to your cart. And basically what happens is that when that bead is restocked, you're going to get a notification. It's going to let you know. So then you can go and actually add it to your cart. So just want you to know that is the one bead from all of the beads in today's show that are not in stock currently, but he is going to be having more of those. Also wanted to let you guys know now. I will also go back over this at the end. Don't forget about Sam's sale tonight. That is at 5 p.m. That's Pacific time. Now you have to remember, I'm on the East Coast, Sam's on the West Coast. So a lot of times I will tell you guys times that are East Coast time. This is Pacific because he is over on the West Coast. So that makes it what, like 8 o'clock Eastern? Yeah, I always get that messed up. Yeah. So it'll be 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. That's when Sam's sale is tonight. You don't want to miss this one, guys, because he's got a brand new Preciosa crystal pendant launch, and you want to be a part of that. Like, don't miss. And I'm going to be using some of those new Preciosa crystal pendants on my show here next Tuesday. So whatever you see tonight, like, grab some. And then if you need some inspiration, I'll have some inspiration for you to use them next Tuesday. Okay. All right. So, all righty. Now we are going to get down to business. I've got a really pretty necklace to put together for you guys. It's not a hard necklace, and really more than anything, what I want for you from this project is just to kind of be inspired. And if you've ever struggled with tiered style necklaces, hopefully I'm going to be able to like kind of demystify that and how to work that out as far as your chain is concerned. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to turn you around and we're going to get right to it. All right, so let me show you these gorgeous beads. Like I said, you can grab all of these over at Sam's Bead Shop, and then we will get right to it. All right, so we have these little Pear Brios. Oh, it'll help if you could see those, right? Oh, and I have more light. Let me turn on some light for us here. I have extra lights. There's one. Let me grab the other. And there's two. Did that help? I hope it helped a little bit. I feel like it did. I feel like it kind of brightened everything up a bit. All right, so we've got the little Brios here. And if you guys will remember from the box, these are the textured ones. I love these. They're super, super cool. But they are a Brio, so they're drilled across the top. I'm going to show you how to handle that. Okay, going to have lots of practice with this project. So those little guys, these little copper twist beads. Now I wrote all of this down, and now I can't remember the exact names. Let me fix that for y'all. Okay, these are the textured round matte copper beads, and they're super cool. They do have all of that really cool texture to them. Love those, love those, love those. And then we have the English cut green, and these are the ones that are currently out of stock. You can get on the wait list. They have this beautiful like shift to them. I don't know if you can see or not. They are in fact green, but it's like a teal green, and they have that shift, that color shift that's like gold purple. So these are going to work with a ton of different colors, and really kind of depending on what you pair these with is what's really going to kind of pull from these. But gosh, they're so pretty. Love, 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 love. All right, so those are the 3 main beads for the project, okay? And I'm just using some simple Rolo chain and some head pins for this. So you don't have to have anything major. Now, as far as Rolo chain is concerned, it's just the one that is just like the little O's, but you can use whatever kind of chain you want to. The reason that I picked the Rolo chain for this though, is that because each one of the links is the exact same size and are clearly facing 2 different directions, it makes it a little bit easier when we're spacing some things out. Now I'll talk a little bit more about that here in just a second. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to create a tiered necklace. Now I went ahead and found the middle of my piece of chain. Okay. And this is just to kind of help guide us along, but I found the middle of my piece of chain, and let me show you a quick and easy way to do that if you struggle with that part. A scrap piece of wire, or a head pin like I've got here. So you take your 2 ends of your chain together and we'll thread those on, and then let your chain drop, right? You're either going to find that you've got 1 bead or 1 chain link in the center, and you can see that's where I've attached my jump ring, or you're going to find that you have 2 jump rings. If you have, or not 2 jump rings, 2 links. If you find that you have 2 links and you need a clear center, then all you're going to do is you're going to come up here to the end and you're just going to move your piece of wire over one. And then you're just going to trim off that link, right? But you only do it on one, and that's going to give you a clear center. But this one, I have already found the center. I just wanted you to know that that's how I do it, quick and easy, without having to count all of these links. You're just going to come down and find the one that is in the very, very middle. And then even if you don't have your necklace ready to go, you can still mark that by just sticking a jump ring through it, which is basically what I've done here, but I went ahead and put the tiered section on it. But mark that with a jump ring or whatever, right? And then when you lay this out, you've got your center to work from, and you don't have to constantly be counting and figuring out. So when I create a tiered necklace like the one that we're going to do today, that's usually the way that I work. I will work from the center of the necklace outwards instead of building from the left or building from the right. I start in the center and I work my way out. Now it's going to be up to you how you do that. I'm just kind of showing you what works for me. Okay. All right. So a lot of times I will pick out what my drop is going to be first, and then I will kind of build my layers from there. So let's do a little wire wrapping first, just to kind of get our creative juices and our fingers moving, and then we'll work on spacing out our chain pieces. Okay. All right. So I'm going to take some 22 gauge wire, and it really doesn't take a whole lot of wire to do this. And you guys have seen me do this before, but this is really good practice if you struggle with wrapping briolettes. Okay, so you're going to just need a few inches. About 3 inches is really kind of all you're going to need for this. And you're going to thread on one of your Brio beads. Okay. And again, I like to use 22 gauge wire, but you use whatever you're comfortable with. Okay. Now, I don't like to take the Brio to the center. I like to have it off center quite a bit because I need a longer wire and a shorter wire to work with. And so I usually just take it like 1.5 inches from the edge. And I will take the wire, that 1.5 inch piece, and I'm just going to bend it upwards. And as I bend it upwards, I'm really kind of following that natural curve of the top of the bead. Now, whether it comes to a sharp point or a nice curve like this one, it makes no difference. All you want is for that wire to really just kind of follow that natural path. Then I'm going to flip it over in my fingers, and I'm going to do the same thing with the other wire. I'm just going to bend it so that it is following the natural curve of the top of the bead. And that's naturally going to give you this kind of crisscross triangle above the top of your bead. Okay. All right. Now I clearly have a long piece and a short piece. I'm going to take my pliers, and that short piece, I'm just going to bend it so that it's more kind of going straight out. And the longer piece, I'm going to bend it so that it's going straight up and down. So basically you're making an L shape out of your wire. Okay. Now I like to use my bent chain nose pliers to hold on to that triangle shape. And I'm going to take this shorter wire and I'm going to wrap it around the longest wire, and I'm going to wrap about 3 times. Hey, Colleen, you can actually let the baby back in if you want to.
Okay, sure. Let's do it. Just that one?
Well, I mean, you can let, what is it? Everybody's out there except Cooper. They can come in. I just don't want her to like destroy the hallway. I don't know why I thought it would be a good idea to leave her out there.
You're being too quiet now. Where are you?
Yeah, right. Now she's in trouble. You know she's doing something bad if she's being quiet. All right, and then you just trim off the excess wire. Okay. Now, if you were going to just do a wrapped loop here, you're going to treat those wraps like they were a bead. But for us, since we like to make things a little bit easier for ourselves, we're going to put a bead down and then do a wrapped loop. Now, that gives us an opportunity to not have to meet up our wires. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if we did a wrapped loop here, we would have two sections of wraps. We would have this set of wraps that was going upwards. And then if we made a wrapped loop, we would have a section of wraps going downwards. And those two wrap sections would meet. And you want it to be as seamless as possible. That can be really frustrating and it doesn't always work out. So the way to get around that, and a great way to design, is to just add a bead. That's Cooper, y'all. Is to add a bead to the top of that and then do a wrapped loop. That's really going to separate out those wire wraps. So you don't have to worry if they meet each other seamlessly or not, right? It takes all the pressure off. So we drop one of those English beads down and now we're going to do a wrapped loop. So I'm going to grab the wire right where it is exiting the bead and I'm just going to do a wrapped loop, right? So bending the wire over the top of the pliers. Got my spacing here for my wire wraps. I'm going to come in with my round nose pliers. We're taking the wire up and over, rotate the pliers so that we can take the wire over to the other side. And then we're going to wire wrap in that space between the loop and the bead. And I had enough for 4 wraps. Okay. Now I'm going to come in with my cutter tool and I'm going to trim off. And I do want to make sure that everything is like facing frontwards, right? So my loop and my triangle for my Brio, they're all facing towards me. Okay. Come in with my cutter tool and trim off. And then if you need to use your pliers, you can tuck in your end. Okay. And you're going to do that with all of the drops for this necklace. So this necklace has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we need 9 of these. Okay. Some of mine are already ready and already attached, but we're going to do 2 more together just so that you can see that process again. Okay. So again, 22 gauge wire. We're going to thread on our bead. We'll keep our bead about an inch, 1.5 inches from the end. So don't put it in the middle. Okay. So you've got a clear long and short piece. Short piece, you're going to bend, following the natural path of the wire or the bead, turning it over. Same thing with the other, and that's going to make your little crisscross at the top. Okay. All right. Taking the wire, bending it straight up and down, taking the shorter wire, and we're bending it outwards to make our little L. Okay. Sam says, I think a Sara plus Colleen stream would be the bestest.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Super bummed out I didn't get to meet him today.
When she got here this morning, she was like, oh, I get to meet Sam today. Because Sam was going to be part of the live today, but Sam ended up extra busy, as you can imagine.
Which is good.
Right. Well, it's a good problem to have. All right, trimming that off, right? So now we don't have to worry about our wire wraps meeting. Dropping a bead down, and then we're going to do a wrapped loop over the top. All right. All right, bending the wire. Coming in with our round nose pliers. She does. Sam says, because Colleen has some mighty talent we want to see. 100%. And she's so humble and like she just doesn't believe that she is as talented as she is. She's an incredible designer.
Sam, you already have me at hello, my friend.
Hey, he's not blowing smoke. I'm telling you, you really
definitely have me at hello.
You are 100% an incredible jewelry designer.
I love you.
Well, I love you too.
I learned from the best.
I don't know about all that.
I did. I learned from the best. For sure.
All right, so there's that one. Let's do one more together, and then I'm going to show you how to set your chains out, and then we'll start attaching these. Okay. All right, so one more for good measure.
I'm blushing.
All right, so threading on our Brio. Okay. All right, short end of the wire. Bend so that it follows the natural path of the bead, no matter what shape that bead is, right? And then flip it over. Do the same thing with the longer wire. Flip it back over. Okay, so you got a short one and a long one. Take that short one, bend it this direction, take the long one, bend it straight up and down. Okay. I like to use the bent chain nose pliers to hold because it keeps the pliers out of the way. But listen, you can use your regular chain nose pliers. You don't have to do what I do. Do what works for you. You're going to wire wrap that short wire around the long wire about 3 times. Okay. And then we're going to trim off. Okay. Now we're going to take our English cut bead and we're just going to drop that down right on top. And then we're going to do a wrapped loop. Listen, that's the best way to take all the pressure off of yourself. If you don't like wrapping Brios because you don't like those wire wraps meeting and it always looks funky monkey, this is the way to fix that. Put a bead between them. And then it's 2 totally different wire wrap sections. Okay. Now, round nose pliers, up and over, rotate, take the wire over to the other side, and then we're going to wire wrap in that space. Just like so. Coming in with a cutter tool, we're going to trim off. Okay, so sassy pants, I'm going to need you to be quiet, okay? We have visitors today. You need to behave yourself.
Inside voice.
Yeah, inside voices only, please. Okay, so now you're going to do that with 9. I don't understand why, but this one got flipped over where the texture is on the wrong side. So let's flip this over. There we go. Straighten it all out. I want my texture to be on the front. Okay, so now we're going to talk about, since we're ready to move on to the next step, which is creating our tiers, we're going to talk about spacing out your chain for this. So I like to decide like what the longest tier is going to be. And again, I'll go ahead and put it in the middle. So the longest tier that we have here is, if we're just measuring the chain, is right at 2 inches of chain. Okay. So 2 inches of chain plus a 4 millimeter jump ring. I'm sorry, that's not 2 inches. Hold, please. 2 inches is right here. 2.5 inches. Okay, so we're at 2.5 inches. That 2.5 inches does include a 4 millimeter jump ring. Okay, so if you want to do jump rings, great. You don't have to at the bottoms. You quite literally can wire wrap these to the ends of your chain pieces, but I did use 4 millimeter jump rings at the bottoms of all of my pieces of chain to be my connection between my little beaded section and the bottom of the chain. But just so you know, my longest tier that's in the center is at 2.5 inches. That's usually the only one that I measure. Okay. After that, I put the ruler away, and then it's all for me just about counting out the length of the chains. So the next section of chain, this one's already got a bead on it. We're going to do 3 of them together. But what I will do a lot of times is I will take that chain. Let's pretend like I haven't already attached this, right? That same piece of wire or my head pin that I used to measure my chain to find the center with is the same piece that I will take my chain, right? Take the first chain, and then my next chain, I'll decide where I want that next chain to fall, right? This one's already got a drop on it, but without the drop, I can see that it's going to be about a 1/2 inch from the bottom. So we're going to step up about a 1/2 inch. But again, I don't want to measure because that's just too much trouble. So what I do is making sure that the chains are hanging side by side, right? I will count up the lengths. to get to the link on this one, right? So let's say I just went ahead and trimmed that off. I hope this is making sense, but I'll trim this off. You have to pretend like the drop is not there. And then I'm going to count up from the bottom here. So skipping over the jump ring, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So that's how much shorter the next step up is. The next step up in chain is 6 links shorter. Okay. So then that would mean that the next link is going to be 6 links shorter than that one. And I would do the same thing. So I'm going to keep that link on, thread on another piece of chain, right? And I'm going to count up the 6 and trim the next piece of chain. That's going to evenly space out. My goodness. That's going to evenly space out each one of the layers if you keep that number the same. Okay. So that would mean that the next one up, again, you're going to count up 6 links and cut that next piece of chain. Okay. And then you've got one more. You're going to count up 6 links of chain. Okay. That to me just makes it easier than getting the ruler out, because sometimes even with the ruler, you will cut your chain and it'll still be off a link or 2 links, no matter how many times you measure it, right? If you just count, that makes it a whole lot easier, at least in my opinion. Okay. So longest link is 2.5, or my longest section is 2.5 inches. Then each consecutive tier is 6 links shorter than the previous one. That has got to make sense. Maybe what I said up until that point didn't make sense, but that's got to make some sense. Okay. So you're going to do that for one side, and then you're going to go ahead and pre-cut your chain for the other side, right? I've got one of them that's already ready to go. And then got that one and that. Okay, so we've got 3 pieces of chain. It actually goes like this, but we're going to go ahead and attach our drops to those pieces, and then we're going to start laying everything out, because this one again is, these are just attached, only strung onto this head pin just to kind of, okay. Moving on. Wow. Sometimes I say too much and it's like, okay, now I've just confused everybody. All right. So I'm going to use 3 little 4mm jump rings. That's going to be my transition between my drop and my chain. Okay. So 4mm jump rings going on, and then my chain link, and then I'm going to close those. Okay. And I'm going to do that to all of them. So you're going to attach all of your drops to all of your little pre-cut pieces of chain. I don't even want to know what that noise was if you want to.
I'll put them out because I feel bad.
Colleen's being the dog whisperer today. It most definitely is real life. Stephanie says, I love hearing dogs, kids, etc. in the background. It's such real life. It 100% is as real as it could possibly get here. I'm telling you, with the dogs and cats and people in and out, 100%. All right. Oh, the baby's being sassy to Colleen. It's so funny. She's very sassy. That is one sassy puppy. That's for sure.
Single file.
Do you hear her? She wants them to be in single file line.
One at a time.
Cracks me up.
Not all 4.
All right, so now I'm just going to lay these back out. Now, I'm not laying them in the position they're going to be on the chain. We're going to talk about that here in just a second, but we've got a whole nother group of drops that are actually going to go in between these. Okay, so I've just got all of this laid out so I kind of visually can see. Now, at this point, even though my chain is all cut, this is the part where, okay, now that you've got it all laid out, if you see something that looks a little off, maybe you cut a piece of chain in the wrong spot, now is your opportunity to fix it before you go to attach everything. Or maybe you don't want it to be evenly spaced. 6 links in between them is not what you want. Maybe you want it to be 6 between these two, but you want it to be 9 between these two, right? You can kind of adjust all of those things before you commit to adding it to the chain. I do like to lay it all out in advance. Now, going in between each one of these at the top of our necklace, and these are going to sit in between these, are another one of those English beads and one of those beautiful textured copper beads. All of these are going to go just onto a head pin. And then those are all also going to be attached to the chain. But like I said, they're going to fall in between each one of the tiers. Okay, so this is where those are all going to go. Everything is going to be attached to the chain with jump rings. We're getting to that point here in just a second. But Albert, that is enough. Hey,
a toy.
Yeah, he doesn't like to share. All right, we've got, well, we're missing one right there. All right, now all of these, like I said, are just going to go onto a head pin. So we'll do one together. It's just a wrapped loop. Okay. And then we're just going to follow the same steps. Bending the wire. Coming in with our round nose pliers. Going up and over. Rotate, take the wire over to the other side. And then we're going to wire wrap in that space. Okay, we're going to come in with our cutter tool and we're going to trim off the excess. And tuck that in. All right, now everything is going to be attached with a jump ring. If you don't want to do a jump ring and you want to wire wrap everything, that's fine, but it's going to be a little bit trickier because I like to work with my chain laying flat. If you're going to wire wrap, you're going to be in a position where you're picking up and putting down, picking up and putting down. And that is because it's really important that everything is spaced evenly. Okay. And again, this is where you're going to see the reason why I picked the Rolo chain, because each link is clearly facing in 2 different directions. Now that's true with all chain, but when the chain links are different shapes, or if they're more of an oval or, you know, kind of a funny shape, sometimes it's a little bit harder to get that clear, one's going one way, one's going the other way, right? But with this, you can clearly see. So all of the links that are facing us, those are going to be the links where we attach something. We're also going to alternate between our short drops and our drops with chain. Okay, so every other one of those is going to get a jump ring and something, but the ones that are facing away from us, where you just see the side of that metal, we're going to skip those. All right, so basically the rest of this is just kind of putting all of this together with jump rings. All right, so coming in with a jump ring. All right, and I'm going to start on this side and work our way this direction. So I'm going to take a jump ring. I'm going to thread on one of our drops. I'm going to skip the one that's facing away from us and the one that's facing toward us. I'm going to hook my jump ring and close that up. Okay, now it is going to get a little crowded, and you do kind of constantly have to like adjust your chain a little bit. But for me personally, as far as I'm concerned, working on a tiered necklace like this, this is for me the easiest way to do it. To me, it just makes more sense than constantly picking up and putting down, just because then you have to readjust and it just takes a lot more time. So skipping over the one that is facing away from us, the one that's facing toward us has that next longest piece of chain with the drop on the bottom, and then we're going to close back. Okay, and then another jump ring. One of our short bead sections. Okay, skipping, and then the next one over. Make sure you get a good closure. jump ring, skip one, the one that's facing towards us, close. Okay, skip and go to the next one. Yes. So Myra asks, wouldn't it be easier to do this on a chainstay or a suspended, some sort of suspension? Yes, it absolutely is easier to do it that way. However, it is not easier for me to teach it that way because of the camera angle. This is really kind of the easiest way to show it to you. And not everybody has a chainstay. If you've got a chainstay or you've got those helping hands, stretching your chain between those and having everything hanging is a great way to do this. You can also do this on the bust. So just cut your chain and go ahead and attach it to the bust and have it all hanging. That makes things a whole lot easier too. Not easier to teach, but easier for sure to put it together. That's a really good way to do this. But if you don't have access to those things or you can't do it that way, laying it down flat is a great alternative. It's really just what's the easiest way to see those individual chain links and what direction they're facing. Hanging is always better, obviously, but yeah. It's funny because I just found my chainstay. I'm still finding things. It's a year later and I'm still finding things from where I moved. And I just recently found my chainstay and got it out. All right, our next shortest, this is actually the shortest one out of the drops. Thank you. I really think this turned out really beautifully too. And it hangs so pretty when you have it all connected. All right, our last little drop on this side, and then we're going to do the other side. I love the chainstay too. I think they're so nice to have. All right, so one side is done. Okay. Now listen, you don't have to put the beads in between here. I liked it because it just kind of filled up the space and made everything feel nice and full. But if you like the tiers open, there's nothing wrong with that. You can skip this beaded part. You don't have to do that, right? It's totally up to you. I'm just giving you a little bit of inspiration. Maybe if you're struggling, you've got creative block, you know, this might be a good jumping off point for you. Sue says, what is a chainstay? I'll show you at the end here so you can see what it looks like. It's pretty nifty. All right, so now we're working from the center to the left. All right, so we're going to skip. Okay, next one. We're going to skip a link to the next one. And even when you do it this way with it all laid out flat, even if you do it hanging, sometimes you still mess up, right? Sometimes you still hit the wrong link with all of your pieces. Everything moves on the mat, as you can see, like everything kind of gets jumbled up. So putting it on the bust at the end is not just to show it off. It's a great way to double check your work, because I can't tell you the number of times I've done this and thought that I got every other link and still managed to mess it up and mess up a full, 6 or 7 of them because I just messed up that one in between. So don't be too mad at yourself if you don't get them all evenly placed the first time around. It happens. So as far as my jump rings, I'm using some 6mm for this top section instead of the 4mm. And there actually was a design reason for that. a lot of times it doesn't matter, you know. However, I was finding that when I got to these last, let me lay this out and then kind of try to straighten it up a little bit. I found that when I started out with the 4mm jump rings, there just was not enough space here. Between this chain and this next drop, a 4mm jump ring had this so crowded that this bead here was kind of sitting on the top edge of this English cut bead. And I didn't want to just recut all of my chain. So I switched out the jump ring from a 4mm to a 6mm. And it was just enough length adjustment so that everything then was hanging in a nice way, right? So that these two little sections were not crowding each other out. I didn't figure that out until I got right to the edge, right? There's no way to know that because everything else was hanging nicely, but this is the shortest piece of chain, and that shortest piece of chain right next to these beads, it just was too crowded. So that small adjustment of 2mm in the jump ring was enough to give it exactly what it needed without having to change the entire design. So all right, just got a few more to go. Okay, so goes in this one right here. Can you fasten down the chain? Yes. Yeah. And you absolutely can use tape. So painter's tape is a great tape to use because it doesn't leave any sticky residue behind on your jewelry. So yeah, if you wanted to tape this down to your work surface, you absolutely could use like some blue painter's tape and tape it down, and that would make a huge difference for keeping everything nice and straight. For sure. I definitely wouldn't tape it to your bead mat. I'd probably tape it to something smooth, but all right, so for the end of the necklace, guys, I'm not putting any hardware on mine just because I'm cheating and all I'm showing you is the front of this necklace. But at the ends of your chain, you obviously want to add, you know, some jump rings and some sort of clasp. But I'm going to skip that step and just get right to putting it on the bust so that we can double check it, so that we can see how it all hangs. Make sure that I didn't miss any, because I'm telling you, a lot of times I'll mess up in there and don't even realize it until it's hanging. All right, so that was our last one. You can kind of pull to straighten everything up so you can see that way. It's a good way to double check, you know, just kind of pulling on your chain a little bit. But the true test is going to be seeing it on the bust to make sure that we got everything. Ooh, Holly says I used diaper pins to secure a chain to my mat previously and it worked. That's a great idea. Safety pins, diaper pins, whatever you got, you know. If you've got like a self-healing craft mat, you can always use like T-pins or not safety pins, but thumbtacks. That works too. I love how jewelry makers are so creative in their ways to to work on things, you know.
It's amazing how many things at the Dollar Tree we can use.
Oh, I know.
It's insane.
Yep.
That's my place.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and turn you around. Okay. And then I'm going to put this low on the bust. You're going to get a weird angle of me for a second. All right. So I had just like what did I do with my piece of chain or my piece of wire? Well, Pear, let me get one. That's what I get for not being on the top of my game today. I didn't send out a text message or nothing today. I apologize for that, y'all. It's been we even forgot to take the trash out this morning, and Q and Colleen rushed out there to the trash man. I was like, Colleen's a guest, and she's like rushing my garbage out to the curb.
I am not a guest. It's like my second home.
It is like your second home, but I
slept on your couch.
I know, but that doesn't mean I want you taking my trash out to the curb, you know?
It's no good.
All right, so I've got it on the bust here, and you did sleep on my couch, and I made you coffee for breakfast, and you had sleepovers.
I love that.
I did too. That was so fun.
We have to do it again.
Yeah, we do got to do that again. All right, so I know you can't see this yet, but hold on. I'm just trying to get everything facing the correct direction, right? So now you can see. So this is kind of like now you have the opportunity to really kind of look at everything and make sure that all of your things are hanging correctly, that you've got each link, right? You don't have any kind of crazy business going on. Sometimes when you're working on things, when they're laying down flat, you attach that jump ring and you accidentally hook one of the other chains or, you know, one of the loops to the beads. So you just never know for sure until you hang everything up, and then you get to really see those colors. This necklace, this, like that Ancient Ruins box, because that's where this one came from. That was one of my very, very favorite Sam's bead boxes. I love all of Sam's bead boxes, but I'm obviously drawn to more colors than others. I mean, everybody has their color palettes. This was a color palette that really, really spoke to me because that copper color, the greens, like all of those things kind of fit with my skin tone and my hair. And so obviously those spoke to me. And if you missed out on that box, that's okay, because, right, those beads are available over in the shop. Now, I mentioned all of this before when we got started, but we've got lots of people that came in during the project. So I do want to go back over all of this with you guys. So the beads in the project today were from Sam's bead box. That was a August 2022 box. However, usually when the bead boxes are over, Sam has extras from the bead boxes, right? Every month, and he puts the extras in the shop. You have the opportunity to purchase those. Well, sometimes they hang around for a little bit. Sometimes people miss out. And this happens to be one of the boxes where some of the extras are still hanging around in the shop, and he's got them in other colors. For instance, these little drops that are in this, he's got those in all kinds of other colors. So if you like the texture and you like the drop, but maybe that color is not your favorite, go on over and check it out. So the flat brios, the textured copper beads, all of those are available over on Sam's Bead Shop. So you can get there from the app, you can get there from the website. The English cut are out of stock currently, but you get on the wait list. You just go like you're going to add it to the cart. You're going to click on add to wait list, and you're going to get a notification as soon as that one restocks. Sam's got some of those on the way, so those will be restocked soon. And then of course, signing up for Sam's Bead Box means that, you know, once a month you're going to get a curated box of goodies as well. So lots of different ways that you can shop over on Sam's Bead Box. He says here we have individual extras of items from this box, just not the entire full box. So if you're looking for the full box, you're kind of missed out on that. That's why it's important to be subscribed to his bead box. But you do get the option to have extras. When he has super popular things like the Brios, he orders those in different colors too. So it really kind of, you know, it's got something for everybody. Now, I didn't show you guys the earrings because I felt like it was kind of redundant because we'd already done a lot of the wrapping. But I did want to show you just so that you could have like a full little set if you wanted to. Like I made a little pair of earrings that were just 3 of the English cut and a Brio with an ear wire at the top, just so that I had something that matched, right? So I have the full little set. But I mean, you can come up with anything. Let's see. Any other things that I need to tell you guys? I do want to remind you of the sale that's happening over on Sam's Bead Shop tonight at 5 p.m. Pacific time. That's 8 p.m. Eastern time. And that's over on Sam's Bead Shop. Again, if you sign up for the app, you're going to get the notifications for that. You can always, you know, check out Sam's Facebook page and see all the information there. Be sure you're joining the gym chat. Make sure you're joining all of my stuff as well. If you haven't joined the Sara Lovecraft Designs community, we're all just one big happy family and sharing the love all the way around. But his sale tonight is he's going to be launching a new Preciosa crystal pendants collection. You want to go check that out for sure. Don't miss that. And then if you need some inspiration as to what to do with those, I'm going to have some of those for a project next Tuesday. So be sure that you come back, right? If you grab some of those Preciosa pendants tonight and you want to see what to do with them, hopefully I can inspire you next Tuesday. Okay. Wanda says, love this design and dim beads. I know, right? It's all about the beads. It's all about the beads. All right, y'all. That's it for me. I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you so much for joining me today. And thank you for hanging out with me and Colleen and the dogs and all of those things. Anything else? Yeah, if you're a Hardwired member, you are going to be meeting with me at 4 p.m. Eastern time this afternoon for a fun project. And Hardwired will be open for enrollment this week. So it opens up on Friday. If you want to be part of the Hardwired group, we're open for enrollment at the beginning and end of every month. Otherwise, you kind of have to wait in between there. Yes, I was going to show you the chain stay. Thank you for reminding me. Hey, Colleen, underneath that that cart on the bottom level is the chain stay. If you don't mind to hand that to me. I'm getting it. I'm going to show y'all. Okay, so check this out. I don't know where you guys can get these. I saw these at Hobby Lobby once upon a time, but I haven't been in a Hobby Lobby in probably 5 years. So I'm not entirely sure. I think you can get these on Amazon. I don't know. But it's called a chain stay. It's got a measurement on the bottom here. And basically, it's just these alligator clips. And you can attach. I don't know why you need to make that noise, but you apparently do when you open and close these, or rar, which is other favorite noise. But you clip between here, or you can put them on the little pegs on the top. My little pegs are broken. They used to be a little bit taller, but I just use the clips, and you can clip a piece of chain or whatever it is between here. And then that really helps you to like visualize what things are going to look like hanging, which is cool, but it's hard for me to teach using this because of the camera angles. But yeah, love that. Love that. So if you're ever using chain, that's a fun one to have. It's definitely worth it. Sam says, oh, I own one of those randomly. You should use it. It's fantastic. All right. So again, Hardwire will be meeting at 4 p.m. Eastern time this afternoon. The rest of you guys, I will see you on Friday at 1 p.m. for our Feel Good Friday show. Do not want to miss that. Don't forget to check out Sam's sale tonight. And I will be seeing you guys here in a couple days. Okay. If I don't see you in Hardwired later, I'll see you later this week. Have an amazing rest of the day. I love you. Bye, guys.